You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name's Ulises Sambrano, and on behalf of Kevin Weiss, we are the hosts of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us at lockedonrays@gmail.com. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Talking about YouTube, let's make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. It's right there. Really easy to do. And you're going to help us out, reach more Rays fans such as yourself. We're on our way to 800 subscribers, so we need your help to do so. We're so close, guys. So thank you all for doing that. As you can tell, I am by myself. So this means that you are going to go on this ride of OCD with me. Okay. I'm going to kind of go chronologically through the game against the Washington Nationals, because wow, what a game. And but I'm going to separate it into segments, offense and then the pitching, because, well, if not, it'll be a mess. So if you don't have OCD, you're about to embark on an OCD episode, bro. It's brought to you by yours truly. I got to take a sip, guys. Okay, so first of all, fantastic way to open a game. The first inning, Yandy and Brendan Lowe and Randy getting on base with the single and the singles and the double respectively. I love what Randy is doing with that energy right off the WBC. It permeates through the whole team. You can really feel it, that energy is going around the clubhouse, and it's so cool. But after that, you get the two singles, you get the double. You're like, okay, you got to punch these two next in. And they do that with productive outs. How lovely to see some productive outs. Wander getting the man over and getting an RBI. And then Luke Raley with a sacrifice fly. Just a lovely thing to see from a lineup. It just, you passing down the baton. That's exactly what you want to see. I know a lot of people are more like, strikeouts or busts or home runs, but I'm sorry, you're never going to get me to get on that train. I love these productive outs. Put the ball in play. You never know what can happen. And so I really enjoy that first inning. You go to the second, Jose Siri again with a bomb. That's his second of the year, and he's making 2023 maybe his breakout year. He only has one stolen base and 2 home runs. So does that make him a 2020 candidate? Is it too early to say that? Do you think he could be a 2020 guy? I want you to drop it down in the comments right now if you think he can be a 2020 guy. I think he's got the skills. I think he's got the ability to do so, especially the steals. I mean, this guy's just so fast. The power seems to be coming through. I don't want to just say hell yeah, because you don't want to be so amped up on game number 5, but the power does seem to be showing up for Jose, and that's such a lovely thing to see. We've said before, if he can be a 90 to 95 WRC plus, which would be around 10 to 5 points below average, with everything that he gives you in his defensive work, he's more than valuable around the league. I mean, this guy is really special. But if that power comes through, and now you're talking somebody that's 100 WRC plus, maybe can give you some gravy and go above that. Oh, that would be such a jolt to this offense, which looks like it's really doing well so far. Now, you get into the middle innings of this game, and the offense is really not clicking that much. You got to tip your cap as well to Harvey and Erasmo Ramirez, and Cool kind of settle down after a little bit. So you can't always say, oh, well, the Rays did bad at those pitches and they weren't really being patient, or they were, sometimes the opposition does their job too. And that's, I think, what happened with the Nationals pitching in the middle of the game. And then now you get into the eighth. Yandy works a walk. How good is Yandy at the plate, people? I mean, the plate discipline, his pitch recognition is elite. You're talking about a guy who had above a 400 on-base percentage last year. Can he do it again? Hopefully he can. Then Randy pushes him in with a double. I'm trying to, with a double. And again, he does his celebration at second base. That WBC worked wonders for him. He just looks so animated, and I love seeing that. And Dwayne and BA have talked about it, and he even did the push-ups in the first inning. I forgot about mentioning that, just because he was so close to having a 3-run shot there in the first, doing push-ups right there on second base. So he's just enjoying life right now. Then you kind of shorten that lead to the 1 run, and you go into the 9th with Luke Raley and then Josh Lowe being the 2 lefties that you need to see power from. You just need to. Those are the guys. They have to show up. And they showed up, going back to back. Luke Raley going oppo, Josh Lowe just obliterating an off-speed pitch. I believe it was Finnegan. Then in the 9th, to go back to back, and apparently I think Trisha said that they had talked about it earlier in the day that they would be going back to back, which is pretty cool. I love when that stuff comes out in post-game interviews. But there was a little bit of a wrinkle there in the 9th. Margot got caught trying to steal, and you can't do that. I know they won the game, but just give me this wrinkle, people. Give me a wrinkle. Margot, you can't do that. I mean, there are no outs. You have a 1-run lead. You just took that lead. No outs, man, on second base. There's no need to do that. I know that he knows that. And Cash knows that. And just like the baseball gods always make you wonder, well, what happened later? This time, it wouldn't matter, thankfully. But guess what? Walls came through with a hit. Siri went oppo double. And the Rays were completely honed in on Finnegan's slider. I mean, just completely, they were just destroying it. And of course, they destroyed it even further when Yandy came up to the plate and hit a 3-run shot at 111.8 miles per hour. I mean, just scorched. I think if you want to put a phrase to illustrate what this offense did this game, Dwayne Stats, of course, race legend, said it perfectly in the 9th. He said they picked themselves right off the floor. That's exactly what happened, and they didn't let the Nationals pull away. They did not do that, which that's credit to the other guys on the other side of the ball, which we should talk about right now. And before we do that, I got to tell you guys all about FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000, people. $1,000. You heard me right. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. If me and Kevin can use it, you can too. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So do not miss this chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/locked on. That's FanDuel.com/locked on to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Well, as you know that I am alone, I do need to take the next 4 seconds for a refreshing sip. Thank you for your patience, people. I appreciate it. Okay. So why did the Nationals not pull away? Well, let's start talking about that pitching, which was before this great comeback by the Rays offense. Boy, we were going to have a different kind of mood talking about the Rays pitching. It's still not great. Let's just get it out of the way. Actually, no, I'm not going to get it out of the way. I'm going to start with the positives, and then we can lay on it. Look, Jalen Beeks was the first guy out of the bullpen. He worked 2 scoreless innings. Tremendous job there. Kelly got into some trouble. He allowed 1 run there, but on 4 hits in 2 innings, he kept them in there. Just like Beeks. You got to keep the game in check. And then Thompson just looked completely nasty in his 1 inning of work. I think you guys can check me on this. I don't have the data right now, but I think he has been the bullpen arm by the Rays that has flirted most with the pitch clock. And we talked about this during spring training, how, he kind of had like a little gamesmanship with Travis d'Arnaud at a spring training game. And Kevin Cash told him, hey, that's not going to cut it during the regular season. But I do think that he's the only bullpen pitcher for the Rays that is really leaning into not looking like he's set until about 2 seconds. Like you're going next time he's up, please see if you're kind of noticing this from him as I am, because it does seem like he's the guy that's pushing more the limits of what can be done with the pitch clock. Afterwards, Fairbanks got some work in the 9th. He worked so quickly. He's just nails right now. I think, honestly, even though he was sitting at 97, 98, and he looks like, he was just Fairbanks of 2022, I think that the best thing that he did this evening, yes, we're recording right after the game. I don't know why I said we. There is no we here. The best thing that he did was catching that Yandy Diaz home run on 1 foot over the bullpen mound. That was pretty cool. Just those things, like we kind of get into the game so much and the stats and the numbers and oh my gosh, this means so much. But ultimately, these are grown men wearing a uniform, playing a game, and we get really wrapped up into it. So when you have things like that happen, like Fairbanks catching the Yandy home run, that just brings a smile to your face. And that's what sports should do. Of course we're going to get angry and sad and disappointed at times, but it's those things that happen outside the white lines, or I guess, inside the white lines in that case, that remind you, like, this is fun. This is supposed to be fun. And of course it's more fun when you win. He looked nasty as always. So I've got really no negatives to talk about the bullpen. The bullpen did its job. Somebody didn't do their job, though, and we have to talk about it. And it sucks to talk about it because you never want to, point the finger at anybody. But Josh Fleming just was the story until the comeback. 3 innings pitched, 10 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks only. BA said that he really was becoming predictable by only pitching onto the outside part of the plate to hitters. So you could talk about that. I thought he was kind of nibbling as well. He really wasn't attacking the hitters. And if you look at the exit velos, Oh my goodness. It was hard hit contact galore with what was happening with Josh Fleming. I mean, you've got 98.2 miles an hour, 100.7, 102.5, 102.7, 102.9, 105, and then his heart is 111.3 miles an hour. I mean, he was just getting hit hard. And so obviously it's disappointing. You never, especially coming off from this ride of amazing starting pitching, we knew there was going to be a drop off. If you're a Rays fan and you expected like a Springs or a Rasmussen or a Neflin and McClanahan type of start from Josh Fleming, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, that's that's not gonna happen, man. That's just not gonna happen. And so, but you don't expect this either. This is not what's going to keep you in a lot of games. Great that the offense picked you up. That's exactly what the offense should do at times. They have to pick up the pitcher, especially when they've been so good. And they did that tonight, but that's not going to be all the time. And if you are only pitching 3 innings and allowing 5 runs, especially when they've given you a 3-run lead in the first, and then you just basically give it right back. Woof. I mean, that's just tough. That's tough for your clubhouse, for your teammates. And then the worst thing about it is, like BA said in the game, you're giving that other dugout some energy, some hey, we're back into this. Like, hey, nothing's wrong, nothing's gone down. Like we still got this, and that's exactly what happened. Thankfully, the Rays hitters were very, very nice to Josh Fleming and picked him up, and the bullpen also picked him up too. You know, you also have to pick up your starter, and they did that. They kept the game close, they kept the game intact, and so that's what you can hope for. But I know, you know, you guys, if you are watching this channel, if you are listening to this, you know that I'm a Yandy Chirinos guy through and through. Kevin is as well. Maybe not with the Venezuelan bump like I am, but you know, and Luis Patino was also in the running for the 5th starter spot. None of those 3 guys, and I mean Fleming, Patino, and Chirinos, did anything to be better than the other. That's the truth. Look at the game logs. I mean, they all had so springs. I know that Josh Fleming had a really good end to his spring, and basically his first one was the big blow up. So, you know, hopefully this is his big blow up, and then that's it. And then he kind of settles down and just gives you the next 4 or so starts that he needs to do before Tyler Glasnow comes back. To just be, like I said on Tuesday's episode, you just want him to go 4 innings and 2 runs allowed, or 5 innings and 3 runs allowed. That's a victory. I'm not expecting any scoreless appearances by Josh Fleming. Can he give you 5 innings scoreless? Of course he can. I mean, I'm pretty sure he did it against the Royals in 2021 as well. I think that was his last one, but check me if I'm wrong. That's all done by the memory bank right here, right now at 10:40 p.m. So yeah, that's exactly what you're hoping from Josh. But yeah, not pretty. Look, Yandy Chirinos also had a not so pretty evening at AAA. So it's not like, oh, Johnny would have done better. Like, you don't know that. And besides, I think Josh Fleming is a little bit more flexible in the Rays' eyes. Like, he can come out of the bullpen. I really do think that they think more of Yandy Chirinos as a starter than Fleming. So, you know, if you stretch Yandy out in AAA, if something were to happen to one of those guys, then he can step in with no opener whatsoever, and you make that transition a little bit better. But again, none of those 3 guys, Fleming, Patino, or Chirinos, did anything better than the other in spring training. It was basically borderline mediocre what they had in spring training. Now, spring training stats, do they matter? I'm of the opinion that they don't. I mean, you don't know who you're facing. Guys might be trying out stuff. It's really hard to say that really, 5 innings, 12. He went 12 innings scoreless, but who was he facing? Were the guys really into that game? The guys that he was facing? I know it's a whole different mentality during spring training, especially in a year where there was a WBC. So maybe some of the big names were missing from those other rosters that these pitchers were facing. You never know. So all that to say, not a pretty outing whatsoever by Mr. Josh Fleming, but let's hope that that was his big blow up and that he can kind of tune it in, because that's just not going to cut it. 3 innings and 5 runs allowed is not going to cut it at all. Even if you are the fifth starter, you can't go 3 innings, 5 runs allowed. You just can't. We will get to your comment and what you thought about this game. But before we do that, I got to tell you that if you're watching this on YouTube and you're hitting that subscribe and like button right now, or listening to this on any other podcast platform, I know that you've dreamt of being a baseball GM. I just know it. And you have the chance to be one today. If you download Ultimate Pro Baseball GM, which is the coolest game that I've played in a long time. I normally do not download games from my phone. I am kind of a boomer, but I did download this one, and it's really cool because you can basically entrench yourself in a season acting as a GM. You can hire the right coaches and staff. You can scout and draft the players. You can navigate the franchise through free agency and then ups and downs of the season. It's a really cool, challenging, and interactive game that you just have to try if you're a baseball fan. So today, Locked On Race listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On. That's LOCKEDON in the game store. So make sure to check it out. You have 2 choices to download this game. You can go to probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or guess what? You can look it up on your app store on your phone. If I can do it, you can do it too. So again, Ultimate Baseball GM, start your dynasty today. Well, folks, again, by myself, I need the next 4 seconds to take a refreshing sip here. You're so nice. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Look, it's been a heck of a game. The Rays are the only undefeated team right now in MLB, which is pretty cool. So let's start with these comments. Scott at Beamed Up Scotty says, absolutely unreal. These boys have no quit, and these first few games show that. Stellar offense late powers the boys again. LFG. Absolutely, Scott. Sydney Morton. Oh, the chocolatier from Peterbrook. Got to visit you, Sydney, and you all should too. She's in downtown. Love seeing the team work through the rough outings and come out on top. The offense, defense, everything really seems to be clicking. Everyone is working in great unison. 100%, Sydney. Justin says it is the Tigers and Nationals, but this lineup looks legit thus far. Okay, pause. Yes, it is the Tigers and Nationals. But what is coming out of their hand, if we're talking about everybody but Fleming and the bullpen too, what's coming out of their hand has nothing to do with who's at the box. That's just who they are. That's what their skill set is. So that doesn't, I don't buy that for the pitching. Now, for the hitting, who are they facing? Are they AAA, quad A guys? Okay, that's a little bit different for the hitters. But, it's still not easy to put up 10 runs and 12 runs like they've done and outscore your opposition like by this much. Even if they're bad teams, like they're going above and beyond. I get where you're coming from, Justin, but, they're still winning the games. And even if that's what they should be doing then. They're doing exactly what they should be doing, which is beating on these types of teams and getting those wins. A writer, Rasmussen Enjoyer. That's funny. This team just has a magical feel to it. All this was done without Wander contributing. That won't happen often. Yes, tremendous comment there, Rasmussen Enjoyer. If Wander's going to be the team MVP, which of course that's my flag, that's my motto for the 2023 season, is that he will be the team MVP. yes, he had a productive out, but he wasn't the spotlight at all whatsoever. And the team put up 10 runs. Like, that is such a good indicator that this offense is working like a very well-oiled machine. Tyler D. Moore says, this year's offense really just hits different than past years. No pun intended. I don't believe you, Tyler. I think you do have the pun intended. Can't remember a year where I felt good about our offense coming back and taking a lead again. I know it's been on mid-team so far, but a win in August is the same as a win in September. Go Rays. I support your Go Rays statement. I support the fact that wins in August are the same in September and in April. I don't agree with, you don't remember a year where you felt good about the offense coming back? 2021, son. The 100-win team. That was the best offense this franchise has ever seen. You don't remember 2021? Come on, let's not forget so quickly. Argenis Rashad says, but I shouldn't have put Luke Raley and Josh Lowe in the lineup based on what I saw in spring training. What can I say? This is one of the times I've been happy to be wrong. You know what, Argenis? You kept your receipts and come in and take your price, because you were right. You did say that. But again, that wasn't against the lefty. That was against the righty. So there you go. Zach Dabb says, this team is exciting to watch in every facet: offense, defense, pitching, and base running. We are in for a fun ride. I agree with you, Zach. We are in for a fun ride, especially when you begin 5-0. Alex Mullins says, we found our lefty power bats. The thing we needed to improve on in the offseason was done, and our young guys are stepping up. Keep playing like this, and it's hard to lose. I agree with you. They're stepping up. That's exactly what they need to do. Josh Lowe and Luke Raley, they both knew that the Rays needed power from the left-handed side of the plate, that they were struggling against right-handed pitching. And they're both lefties, and they both have the skills to be power guys, to provide some pop. They knew this. They didn't get the shiny new toy. They knew this. They have this pressure, and they're showing up. They're stepping up, which is incredibly cool and encouraging to see as a Rays fan, that young guys are stepping up, which was not the case for most of the year last year. And let's close it up with OG listener Ty McCann, who says Rays offense, and then puts the gif of Zoolander with Will Ferrell, and he says, so hot right now. Yeah, the Rays offense is so hot right now. Good one, Ty. I love that movie. If you haven't checked out Zoolander, you definitely should. It's not dated at all. It's hilarious. Okay, well, that does it for this episode. Solo, thank you for going on this OCD ride with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Kevin will be back tomorrow with a mailbag episode, and I believe it'll be 3 voice memos that he goes over, which will be really, really fun, and you guys can have a good time listening to that. So for now, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. Now make your second listen to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball, which is also free and available on all platforms. Remember, stay safe, be good to each other, and Rays up.